Hey there, you made it. I'm so happy you're here with me tonight. You're probably all cozy, maybe snuggled under a soft blanket, feeling warm and safe. Or maybe you're a little wild, with one leg sticking out from under the covers because you like a bit of adventure. Either way, welcome. You're exactly where you need to be. Before we start, I want to know a little about you. Where are you listening from? Are you in a big city with lots of lights or a quiet town where you can hear crickets at night? Maybe you're somewhere far away in a place I've never been. And what time is it where you are? Is it late at night with the moon high in the sky, or is it early evening just getting dark? I love hearing your answers. They make me smile when I'm up super late, like a sleepy raccoon rummaging through a quiet forest. So tell me, where are you and what's the time? Tonight we're going to talk about something really special. It's called Why Medieval Cooks Slept Near Fire for the Best Sleep in History. That might sound like a funny title, but it's a story about people who lived a long, long time ago in a world that was very different from ours. They didn't have phones or TVs or even electric lights, but they had something we don't always have today: really, really good sleep. And the secret to their sleep, it was all about the fire. Let's get comfy and drift back to that time, nice and slow. Imagine a world that's quieter than ours. No cars zooming by, no bright screens glowing in the dark. Just the soft sound of wind outside, the crackle of a fire inside, and the feeling of being warm and safe. That's where we're going tonight. A time when the world felt smaller, darker, and maybe a little cozier, especially if you were a cook who spent all day by the fire. Now close your eyes for a second and picture yourself in a little house made of wood and straw. It's not fancy, but it's home. There's a fire in the middle of the room, and it's giving off a soft, golden light. The flames dance a little like they're telling you a story. The air smells like wood smoke and fresh bread. You're wrapped in a blanket, and you can feel your body getting heavy, like it's ready to rest. That's what it was like for the people we're going to talk about tonight. They were cooks, and they had a special way of sleeping that made them feel so peaceful. But before we dive into their story, let's talk about you a little more. Are you someone who loves to sleep? Do you fall asleep as soon as your head hits the pillow? Or do you wiggle around a bit, trying to find the perfect spot? Maybe you have a favorite blanket or a stuffed animal you like to hug. I bet you have a special way of getting ready for bed, just like those medieval cooks did. They didn't have fluffy pillows or big beds, but they had their fire, and it was like a warm hug that helped them sleep so well. When I think about those cooks, I imagine them sitting by the fire at the end of a long day. Their hands are a little dirty from stirring pots and chopping vegetables. Their clothes smell like smoke and spices. They're tired, but it's a good kind of tired, the kind that makes you want to curl up and close your eyes. They didn't have to worry about emails or homework or all the things we think about today. They just had their fire, their family, and the promise of a good night's sleep. So let's pretend we're sitting by that fire right now. Can you feel the warmth on your face? It's not too hot, just nice and gentle, like a sunny day in spring. The fire makes little popping sounds, like tiny fireworks that don't scare you. You can hear the wind outside, but it's far away and it can't touch you here. You're safe, you're cozy, and you're ready to hear a story that's going to make you feel so relaxed. Let's talk about what it means to be a medieval cook. A long time ago in the medieval times, that's like 700 years ago, cooks were super important. They made food for everyone in the village. They didn't have grocery stores or microwaves. They had to grow their own vegetables, raise their own animals, and cook everything over a fire. It was hard work, but it was also kind of magical. They turned simple things like barley and carrots into warm, yummy meals that made people happy. These cooks spent all day by the fire. They stirred big pots of soup, baked bread in hot ovens, and roasted meat on sticks. The fire was their best friend. It kept them warm in the winter, it cooked their food, and at night it helped them sleep. They didn't have heaters or electric blankets like we do, but they had the fire and it was enough. They'd lie down on a simple bed near the hearth, that's the place where the fire burns, and the warmth would wrap around them like a big, soft hug. Have you ever sat by a campfire? Maybe you went camping with your family or had a bonfire in your backyard. If you have, you know how nice it feels to watch the flames and feel the heat on your skin. It makes you feel calm, like nothing else matters. That's what it was like for those medieval cooks every single night. They didn't need fancy things to sleep well. They had the fire, and it was like a lullaby that sang them to sleep. Now let's think about sleep for a minute. Do you ever have trouble falling asleep? Maybe your brain is busy thinking about school or games or something funny that happened during the day. That happens to a lot of us. But those medieval cooks, they didn't have that problem. Their days were so full of work, chopping wood, carrying water, stirring pots, that their bodies were ready to rest as soon as the sun went down. And the fire made it even better. It kept them warm, it made the room feel safe, and it helped them drift off into the sweetest dreams. Let's imagine you're one of those cooks for a moment. Your name is Agnes and you're in a little village. You've been cooking all day and now it's nighttime. You're sitting by the fire and it's glowing softly. Your hands are tired from kneading dough and your eyes are heavy. You can smell the bread you baked earlier and it makes you smile. The fire is crackling and it's like it's saying, "Go to sleep, Agnes. You did a good job today." You lie down on a simple bed of straw, pull a wool blanket over you, and feel the fire's warmth on your face. You're not worried about anything, you're just ready to rest. Doesn't that sound nice? I think it does. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I imagine I'm in a place like that. No bright lights, no loud noises, just the fire and the quiet night. It helps me feel calm, like I can let go of everything and just be. Maybe you can try it tonight. When you close your eyes, picture that fire, that cozy little house, and that soft, warm feeling. It might help you drift off, just like those medieval cooks did. Now let's talk about why this story matters. We live in a world that's very different from Agnes. We have so many things: phones, computers, cars, lights that stay on all night. But sometimes all those things make it harder to sleep. We stay up late watching shows or playing games and our brains don't know when it's time to rest. Those medieval cooks didn't have that problem. They lived in a simpler time and their sleep was better because of it. They didn't need to try hard to sleep. They just did, and the fire helped them. I want you to think about your own bedtime for a second. Do you have a routine? Maybe you brush your teeth, put on pajamas, and read a book. Or maybe you listen to music or talk to your family before you turn off the light. Those little things are like the fire for those medieval cooks. They tell your body it's time to slow down, to get ready for sleep. Maybe tonight you can add something new to your routine, like imagining that fire or taking a few deep breaths or even just thinking about something happy. It might make your sleep even better. Let's go back to that village for a bit. Imagine you're walking through it at night. The houses are small with straw roofs and wooden walls. You can see the glow of fires through the windows like little stars on the ground. Everyone is getting ready for bed. The cooks, like Agnes, are banking their fires. That means covering them with ash so they stay warm until morning. The farmers are checking their animals, making sure the goats and chickens are safe. The kids are already asleep, curled up with their brothers and sisters. It's so quiet, except for the wind and the soft sounds of the village settling down. That quiet is something we don't always have today. Our world is full of noise: cars, TVs, phones buzzing with messages. But those medieval cooks, they had the kind of quiet that makes you feel safe. The kind of quiet that says, it's okay to rest now. And the fire was part of that. It wasn't just for cooking or keeping warm. It was like a friend, always there, always steady. When they lay down near it, they knew everything was going to be okay. Have you ever noticed how certain things make you feel sleepy? Maybe it's a warm bath, or the sound of rain on your window, or a story your mom or dad reads to you. For those medieval cooks, the fire was all of those things rolled into one. It was warm, it made soft sounds, and it told them a story every night. A story about rest, about peace, about letting go. That's why their sleep was so good. They didn't fight the night, they just let it happen. Let's take a moment to breathe together. Inhale slowly, like you're smelling a warm loaf of bread fresh from the oven. Hold it for a second. Now exhale like you're blowing out a tiny candle. Do it again. Inhale, hold, exhale. Feel your body getting a little heavier, a little softer. That's what those cooks felt when they lay down by the fire. Their bodies knew it was time to rest, and they listened. Now I want to tell you a little more about what's coming in this story. We're going to meet Agnes, our cook, and follow her through a whole day. We'll see how she starts her morning, what she does by the fire, and how she gets ready for bed. We'll talk about her simple bed, the sounds she hears at night, and even the dreams she has. It's going to be a slow, gentle story, perfect for helping you relax and maybe even fall asleep. But before we get to all that, let's think about fires for a minute. Have you ever helped build a fire? Maybe you've put sticks in a campfire or watched someone light a fireplace. It's kind of fun, right? You have to be careful, but there's something special about watching the flames grow. For medieval cooks, the fire was their whole world. They couldn't cook without it, and they couldn't stay warm without it. At night, it was like a guardian, keeping them safe while they slept. Let's imagine building a fire right now. Picture a small pile of sticks in the middle of a stone hearth. You add some dry leaves to help it start. Then you strike a flint. That's a special rock that makes sparks. A tiny spark lands on the leaves and they start to glow. You blow gently and the glow turns into a little flame. You add more sticks and soon the fire is crackling, filling the room with warmth and light. That's what Agnes did every day, and at night, that fire was her bedtime story. Do you have something at home that makes you feel cozy? Maybe it's a lamp that gives off a soft light or a blanket that's extra warm. For Agnes, the fire was her cozy thing. She didn't need a lot of stuff to feel good. Just the fire, her straw bed, and the quiet night. That's something we can learn from her. Sometimes, the simplest things are the best when it comes to sleep. Let's talk about bedtime again. When you go to bed, do you like to be alone or do you share a room with someone? Maybe you have a brother or sister who sleeps nearby or a pet who curls up with you. In medieval times, people almost never slept alone. Agnes shared her house with her family, and sometimes even the dogs slept close by. It made them feel safe, like they were all in it together. The fire was part of that too. It was like another member of the family, always there, always warm. Now let's think about the night sky. Have you ever looked up at the stars? If you live in a city, it might be hard to see them because of all the lights. But in a village 700 years ago, the stars were so bright, they looked like little fires in the sky. Agnes would sometimes peek outside before bed and see them twinkling. It made her feel small, but in a good way, like the world was big and safe and watching over her. That's another reason she slept so well. The night wasn't scary, it was beautiful. Let's do another breathing exercise. This time, imagine you're breathing in the smell of a warm fire. Inhale slowly like you're pulling in that smoky, cozy scent. Hold it for a moment. Now exhale, letting all your worries float away. One more time, inhale, hold, exhale. Feel how calm that makes you? That's what Agnes felt every night lying by the fire, listening to its soft crackle. We're almost ready to start the story, but I want to make sure you're feeling nice and relaxed. Are you comfortable? Is your pillow just right? If you need to wiggle a little to find the perfect spot, go ahead. This story is all about feeling good, about letting go of the day and slipping into a peaceful place. Those medieval cooks knew how to do that better than anyone, and we're going to learn from them tonight. Let's talk about why this story is called Why Medieval Cooks Slept Near Fire for the Best Sleep in History. It's not just because the fire was warm, it's because the fire was part of their whole life. It cooked their food, it lit their home, it kept them safe. And at night, it was like a friend who stayed awake so they could rest. They didn't have to worry about anything when the fire was burning. They could just close their eyes and let sleep come. Have you ever had a really good night's sleep? The kind where you wake up feeling happy and ready for the day? That's what Agnes had almost every night. Her life wasn't easy, she worked hard, and she didn't have a lot of things. But she had the fire and she had her family, and that was enough. Her sleep was deep and sweet, like a long, warm hug from the night. Let's imagine one more thing before we start the story. Picture yourself in Agnes's house. You're sitting on the floor near the fire. The room is small, but it feels cozy, not crowded. The fire is glowing and you can see shadows dancing on the walls. Agnes is there smiling at you. She's tired, but she's happy. She hands you a piece of warm bread fresh from the oven. You take a bite and it's soft and chewy with a little bit of honey on top. You feel so safe, so calm. That's what we're going to explore tonight, the world of Agnes and her fire, and how it helped her sleep so well. Okay, we're ready to begin. Get nice and comfy, maybe pull your blanket a little closer. We're going to drift back to that medieval village, to Agnes's little house, and we're going to see what her day was like. It's going to be a slow, gentle story, full of warmth and quiet moments. You don't have to do anything but listen and let yourself relax. The fire is burning, the night is soft, and sleep is waiting for you, just like it waited for those medieval cooks. So here we go. Let's settle in nice and slow and drift back to a time when the world was quieter, darker, and maybe a little warmer by the hearth. Close your eyes and imagine a little village in medieval England, way back around the 1300s. That's a long, long time ago when the world was so different from today. There were no cars, no phones, no bright lights shining all night. Everything was quiet, simple, and a little bit slower. The air smelled like dirt and grass mixed with the smoky scent of burning wood. That smell was everywhere because every house had a fire going all the time. Let's picture it together nice and easy so you can feel like you're right there in that village, ready to rest. The houses in this village weren't big or fancy. They were made of wood with walls that looked a little rough, like someone stacked logs and tied them together. The roofs were covered with straw, all bundled up tight to keep out the rain. When you walked inside one of these houses, you'd see a big open room with a fire burning right in the middle. The fire was on a stone hearth, which is like a flat spot on the floor where the flames could dance safely. Smoke would curl up and slip out through a hole in the roof, making the air feel warm and a bit hazy. Life back then was hard, but it was steady, like a song that keeps the same beat. People woke up when the sun peeked over the hills. They didn't have alarm clocks beeping at them. The light from the sun was enough to say, hey, it's time to start the day. Everyone had jobs to do and they worked with their hands. Farmers grew food like wheat and carrots. Weavers made cloth for clothes. And cooks, they were super important because they made meals for everyone. They spent all day by the fire, stirring pots, chopping vegetables, and keeping the flames just right. For cooks, the fire was like their best friend. It wasn't just for cooking, it was their whole world. They'd stand by it, feeling its warmth on their faces while they mixed soup or baked bread. The fire made a crackling sound like little pops and snaps, almost like it was talking to them. They'd add more wood when it got low and the flames would jump up, happy and bright. It wasn't a fancy job being a cook, but it was warm and cozy. And that warmth. It was a big reason why their sleep was so special, so good, that we still talk about it today. Let's imagine walking through this village. It's early morning and the air is cool and fresh. You can smell the earth like when you dig in a garden. There's a little path made of dirt winding between the houses. Some houses have small gardens out front with green plants growing in neat rows. You might see a chicken or two pecking at the ground looking for bugs. In the distance, there's a field where farmers are working, bending down to pull weeds or check their crops. Everyone is busy, but they're not in a rush. Life moves at its own pace, slow and steady. If you peek inside a house, you'll see the fire glowing in the center. It's not like a fireplace we have today with a chimney and a fancy mantle. It's just a pile of logs burning on the hearth with stones around it to keep the flames from spreading. The fire gives off a soft, golden light that makes the whole room feel warm and safe. The walls are plain, maybe with a few tools hanging on them, like a wooden spoon or a basket for carrying vegetables. There's no carpet, just a floor made of packed dirt, smooth from years of people walking on it. The people in this village didn't have a lot of stuff. They didn't have closets full of clothes or shelves full of toys, but they had what they needed. They had food from the fields, clothes made from wool, and a fire to keep them warm. They didn't worry about things like emails or homework or what was on TV. Their days were full of simple things: work, family, and rest. And when the sun went down, they didn't stay up late with bright lights. They went to sleep when the stars came out, letting the darkness wrap around them like a soft blanket. Cooks had a special place in the village. They weren't just making food, they were making sure everyone had enough to eat. They'd start their day early, before most people were awake. They'd light the fire if it had gone out during the night, blowing on the coals to make them glow again. Then they'd get to work, grinding grain to make flour, chopping herbs, or stirring a big pot of soup. The soup was called pottage, and it was like a thick, warm stew with whatever they had, maybe barley, peas, or a bit of meat if they were lucky. The fire was the heart of their work. Without it, they couldn't cook anything. They had to watch it closely, making sure it didn't get too big or too small. If it got too big, it might burn the food or even the house. If it got too small, the food wouldn't cook. So they'd poke the logs with a stick, move them around, and add more wood when needed. It was like a dance, slow and careful, with the fire as their partner. And all day, they'd feel its warmth, like a hug that never went away. Let's picture a cook standing by the fire. Her name is Agnes, and we'll meet her properly soon. She's wearing a long dress made of rough cloth with an apron tied around her waist. Her hands are busy, stirring a pot with a wooden spoon. The pot is heavy, hanging over the fire on a metal hook. She's humming a little song, something soft and simple, as she works. The fire crackles and she smiles because it's a sound she knows so well. Her face is warm from the flames and her eyes are a little tired, but she's happy. This is her world and she's good at it. The village wasn't big, maybe just a few dozen houses all clustered together. Everyone knew each other. If someone needed help, like fixing a roof or sharing some food, they'd work together. It was like a big family. The cooks were part of that family, too. They share their food with neighbors, especially if someone was sick or had a new baby. They didn't have a lot, but they had enough to give, and that made the village feel warm, not just from the fire, but from kindness. Life wasn't always easy, though. The weather could be tough. Winters were cold, and sometimes the rain made the fields too muddy to grow food. People got sick, and there weren't doctors like we have today, but they kept going. They worked hard, and they took care of each other. The cooks were especially good at this. They'd make warm soups to help people feel better or bake bread to share at a village feast. Their fire was always burning, ready to help. Let's think about what it was like to live without all the things we have today. No electricity meant no lights to flip on when it got dark. They used the fire for light, or sometimes a candle made from animal fat. No refrigerators meant they had to eat food fresh or dry it to keep it from spoiling. No stores meant they grew or made almost everything themselves. It was a lot of work, but it made them strong. And when they were tired, they didn't have to think hard about falling asleep. Their bodies were ready for rest, and the fire helped them feel safe and cozy. The fire wasn't just for cooking or light. It was like a friend who was always there. In the morning, it warmed the house when the air was chilly. During the day, it cooked the food that fed the family. At night, it kept everyone safe from the cold and the dark. For cooks, it was even more special. They spent so much time with it. They knew its every sound and mood. They could tell when it needed more wood just by listening to its crackle. And when they lay down to sleep, the fire's warmth was like a lullaby, singing them into dreams. Let's imagine the village at different times of the day. In the morning, it's quiet with just a few people stirring. The cooks are up, tending their fires while the farmers head to the fields. By midday, the village is busier. Kids are running around, playing games with sticks or chasing each other. Women are washing clothes by the river and men are fixing tools or building fences. The cooks are in their houses, stirring pots and baking bread, the smell of food drifting out the windows. In the evening, the village slows down. The sun sets, painting the sky pink and orange. People come home tired but happy. They gather around the fire to eat, sharing stories about their day. The cooks serve up their pottage or bread and everyone eats together, sitting on stools or even the floor. The fire glows, making the room feel like a safe little world. After dinner, they don't stay up late. They clean up, bank the fire. That means covering it with ash to keep it warm till morning, and get ready for bed. Bedtime was different back then. They didn't have soft mattresses or fluffy pillows. Most people slept on straw, spread out on the floor or on a simple wooden frame. It wasn't fancy, but it was enough. For cooks, their bed was usually near the fire, so they could stay warm all night. They'd pull a wool blanket over them, maybe one they'd woven themselves. The fire's glow would flicker on the walls like a soft, moving picture. And as they closed their eyes, they'd hear the fire's gentle pops, mixed with the sound of their family breathing nearby. The village was never completely silent, even at night. You might hear the wind rustling the straw roofs or an owl hooting in the trees. Sometimes a dog would bark or a goat would bleat, complaining about something. But these sounds weren't loud or scary. They were part of the village, like a song that played every night. For the cooks, those sounds, along with the fire's crackle, were like a signal that it was time to rest. They didn't fight sleep, they welcomed it, knowing tomorrow would bring more work, more warmth, more life. Let's think about the seasons for a minute. In spring, the village was full of new life. Flowers bloomed, baby animals were born, and the fields turned green. The cooks used fresh herbs and young vegetables to make their meals taste bright and new. In summer, the days were long and warm, and the village buzzed with energy. The cooks might cook outside sometimes, setting up a fire in the yard to roast meat or bake bread in a clay oven. Fall was a busy time, with everyone working to harvest crops and store food for winter. The cooks made big batches of pottage, adding apples or nuts to make it special. Winter was the hardest season. The air was cold and the days were short, but the fire kept the houses warm and the cooks worked hard to make meals that filled bellies and lifted spirits. They'd simmer soups for hours, letting the fire do its magic. And at night, when the wind howled outside, the fire's warmth made sleep feel like a gift. The cooks didn't just feed people, they brought them together. A good meal could make a bad day feel better. A warm loaf of bread could make a neighbor smile. The fire was the center of it all, giving them the power to create something good. And when they lay down at night, they didn't worry about tomorrow. They knew the fire would be there, ready to start the day again. That knowing, that trust, made their sleep deep and peaceful. Let's picture the village one more time. It's nighttime now and the stars are out bright and clear. The houses are dark, except for the soft glow of fires inside. The cooks, like Agnes, are lying down, their beds close to the hearth. They can feel the fire's warmth on their skin, even as the air outside grows cold. Their bodies are tired from a day of work, but it's a good tired, the kind that makes you want to close your eyes and drift away. The fire crackles softly, like it's saying good night. This was their life, simple, hard, but full of warmth. They didn't have a lot, but they had enough. They had their fire, their family, and their village. They worked with their hands, lived by the sun and stars, and slept when the night called. For the cooks, the fire was more than a tool. It was a friend, a helper, a lullaby. It made their days full and their nights restful. And that's why their sleep was so special, so different from ours. Now, as we leave this village for a moment, let's hold on to that feeling, the warmth of the fire, the quiet of the night, the softness of a simple life. We're going to meet someone who lived this life, someone who knew the fire better than anyone. Her name is Agnes, and she's waiting to share her story with us. So let's keep that cozy feeling and drift into the next part, nice and slow, ready to learn more about her world. Let's meet someone special from our little medieval village in England, way back in the 1300s. Her name is Agnes, and she's a cook. Agnes is the kind of person you'd love to know. She has hands that are always a little dusty with flour, like she's been playing with soft white snow. When she laughs, it sounds like a tiny bell ringing, soft and happy. She's not young, not old, just right in the middle, steady like a tree that's been growing for years. Her eyes crinkle at the corners when she smiles, like they're hugging you with warmth. Agnes is someone you'd want to sit next to just to listen to her hum a quiet tune while she stirs a pot of warm, yummy soup. Agnes lives in a small house made of wood and straw, like all the houses in the village. Her days are long, starting when the sun peeks up and ending when the stars come out. Her apron is always a little dirty, smudged with black soot from the fire or bits of dough from making bread. But she doesn't mind. She loves her work. She loves taking simple things like grains and roots from the garden and turning them into food that makes people happy. At night, when her work is done, she curls up near the fire in her house. Her body feels heavy, like it's ready to rest, and her mind is already starting to dream. Let's get to know Agnes nice and slow so can you feel like you're right there with her, cozy and calm. Agnes wakes up every morning before the sun is fully up. The air is cool and the village is quiet except for a few birds chirping. She stretches her arms and her joints make little creaking sounds like an old wooden chair. She doesn't have a fancy bed, just a pile of straw covered with a wool blanket, but it's enough for her. She gets up, ties her apron around her waist, and shuffles to the fire in the middle of her house. The fire is low, just a few glowing coals from the night before. She kneels down, blows gently on the coals, and adds some dry sticks. Soon, the flames wake up, crackling and popping like they're saying hello. Agnes loves the fire. It's her helper, her friend. She spends all day with it, cooking food for her family and sometimes for the whole village. She makes a thick soup called pottage, which is like a stew with barley, carrots, and maybe some herbs. She bakes bread in a hot clay oven next to the fire, and sometimes she roasts meat on a stick, turning it slowly so it cooks just right. The fire is always there, warm and bright, making her little house feel like the coziest place in the world. Let's picture Agnes standing by the fire. She's not tall, not short, just the right size for her work. Her hair is brown with a few gray strands tied back with a piece of cloth. Her dress is simple, made of rough wool, and it's a little worn at the edges. Her apron is white, but it's never really clean because she's always busy cooking. She has a wooden spoon in one hand, stirring a pot that hangs over the fire. The pot is heavy, filled with pottage that's bubbling softly. Agnes hums as she stirs a song she learned when she was a little girl. It's a happy sound, like a bird singing in the morning. Agnes has a smile that makes everyone feel good. When she sees her neighbors, she waves and asks how they're doing. If someone's sick, she'll bring them a bowl of warm pottage to help them feel better. If there's a village feast, she's the one who makes the biggest pot of food so everyone can eat and laugh together. She's not loud or bossy. She's quiet and kind, like a warm blanket you want to wrap around you. Her eyes are brown, and they sparkle when she talks about food or tells a funny story. Agnes loves food, but not just eating it. She loves making it. She knows how to take a handful of barley and a few carrots and turn them into something delicious. She knows which herbs make the pottage taste better, like mint or parsley from her little garden. She knows how to knead dough until it's soft and smooth, ready to bake into crusty bread. It's not easy work. Her hands get sore from chopping and stirring, and her back aches from standing by the fire all day. But she doesn't complain. She loves knowing that her food makes people happy, makes them feel full and cared for. Let's imagine sitting with Agnes in her house. It's a small room with walls made of wood and a roof made of straw. The fire is in the middle on a stone hearth, and it's giving off a soft, golden light. The air smells like smoke and bread with a hint of herbs. Agnes is sitting on a stool, stirring her pot. She looks at you and smiles, her eyes crinkling. "Want to try some?" she asks, holding out a bowl of pottage. You take a sip, and it's warm and thick, like a hug in a bowl. You feel cozy, like you could stay here forever, just listening to the fire and Agnes's humming. Agnes lives with her sister's family. Her sister Maud has 2 kids, a girl named Ella and a boy named Tom. They're noisy sometimes, running around and playing, but Agnes loves them. She tells them stories while she cooks about fairies in the woods or giants who sleep in the hills. Ella and Tom love her stories and they love her food even more. Sometimes they help her in the kitchen, fetching water from the well or picking herbs from the garden. Agnes teaches them how to cook, showing them how to stir the pottage without burning it or how to shape dough into little rolls. The kids aren't the only ones in the house. There's also a dog named Bramble, an old, shaggy mutt with floppy ears. Bramble loves Agnes because she sneaks him bits of bread when no one's looking. At night, Bramble curls up near the fire, close to Agnes's bed. His soft snores mix with the fire's crackle, making the house feel even cozier. Agnes likes having her family around. It makes her feel safe, like she's never alone. And when she lies down to sleep, she can hear them breathing, which is like a lullaby. Agnes's days are busy, but they have a rhythm, like a song that repeats. She wakes up, lights the fire, and starts cooking. She grinds grain into flour, chops vegetables, and stirs the pottage. She bakes bread, checks the fire, and maybe visits a neighbor to share some food. By afternoon, her hands are tired and her feet ache from standing. But it's a good kind of tired, the kind that makes you want to rest. She sits for a moment, sipping a cup of weak ale, which is like a light beer that everyone drinks, even kids, because the water isn't always clean. When the sun starts to set, Agnes gets ready to finish her work. She makes sure there's enough pottage for her family's dinner. She bakes one last loaf of bread, filling the house with a warm, toasty smell. She cleans her wooden spoon and hangs her apron on a hook. Then she banks the fire, which means covering it with ash so it stays warm until morning. The fire glows softly, like it's ready to rest, too. Agnes smiles, knowing her day is done and her body is ready for sleep. Let's picture Agnes at the end of the day. The house is quiet now, except for the fire's gentle pops. Ella and Tom are sitting by the hearth, eating their pottage. Maud is mending a shirt, sewing with a needle and thread. Bramble is snoring, his paws twitching like he's dreaming of chasing rabbits. Agnes is tired, but she's happy. She loves her family, her work, and her little house. She loves the fire most of all because it's always there, keeping her warm and safe. Agnes's bed is near the fire, just a few steps away. It's not a real bed like we have today. It's a pile of straw spread out on the floor with a wool blanket on top. The straw is a little scratchy, but Agnes doesn't mind. She fluffs it up sometimes, making it as soft as she can. Sometimes she adds a sprig of lavender, a purple flower that smells sweet, to make her bed smell nice. When she lies down, she pulls the blanket over her, and the fire's warmth wraps around her like a hug. Her body feels heavy, like it's sinking into the straw, and her eyes start to close. Agnes doesn't fall asleep right away. She likes to listen to the fire for a bit. It makes little sounds like whispers or tiny laughs. She thinks about her day, maybe the bread she baked was extra crusty, or Ella told a funny joke. She doesn't worry about tomorrow. She knows it'll bring more work, more food, more warmth. Her mind feels soft like a cloud, and soon she's half in a dream, thinking about fields of flowers or a river that sparkles under the sun. That's how Agnes falls asleep, cozy and calm, with the fire singing her to sleep. Let's think about why Agnes is so special. She's not a queen or a knight. She's just a cook doing her work every day. But her work matters. She feeds her family and her neighbor. She makes them feel loved with her food. She's kind, always ready to share a smile or a bowl of pottage. She's steady like the fire she tends. And she's happy even though her life is simple. That's what makes her someone you'd want to know, someone you'd want to sit with by the fire. Agnes has a few favorite things. She loves the smell of bread baking when it fills the house with a warm, toasty scent. She loves the sound of the fire, especially when it's quiet at night. She loves watching Ella and Tom play, their laughs making her heart feel full. She even loves her old apron with its smudges and stains because it's part of her work. These little things make her life feel rich, even though she doesn't have a lot of money or fancy stuff. Sometimes Agnes has hard days. Maybe the fire doesn't light easily or the pottage burns because she's distracted. Maybe a neighbor is sick and she worries about them. But she doesn't let those days make her sad for long. She knows tomorrow will be better. She knows the fire will be there and her family will be there, and that's enough. She's strong, not like a warrior, but like someone who keeps going no matter what. Let's imagine one of Agnes's favorite moments. It's evening and the sun is setting, painting the sky pink and gold. She's sitting outside her house on a little bench made of wood. The air is cool, but she's warm because she's near the fire, which is burning in a pit outside. She's holding a piece of bread, still warm from the oven, and she's nibbling it slowly. Ella is sitting next to her, telling a story about a bird she saw in the woods. Tom is throwing sticks into the fire, watching them spark. Bramble is lying at Agnes's feet, his tail wagging lazily. Agnes feels so happy, like the world is perfect just for this moment. Agnes doesn't think about the future much. She lives day by day, enjoying the little things. She doesn't want a big house or fancy clothes. She's happy with her fire, her pottage, her family. She knows her work is important, even if it's not glamorous. She knows the village needs her, and that makes her feel good. When she lies down at night, she doesn't toss and turn. She just closes her eyes, feels the fire's warmth, and lets sleep come. Let's picture Agnes one more time. It's nighttime and she's lying on her straw bed. The fire is low, just a soft glow like a candle that's almost out. Her blanket is pulled up to her chin and she's warm and cozy. Bramble is snoring nearby and Ella and Tom are asleep, their breaths soft and slow. The house is quiet except for the fire's gentle crackle. Agnes smiles just a little as she thinks about her day. Her body is tired, her mind is calm, and she's ready to dream. The fire is her lullaby, singing her into a deep, sweet sleep. Agnes is the kind of person who makes you feel good just by being around her. She's warm like the fire she loves. She's kind like a friend who always shares. She's steady like a river that keeps flowing. Her life is simple, but it's full of love and purpose. That's why we're going to follow her story to see what her days are like, how she works, and how she rests. She's going to show us why medieval cooks like her slept so well, curled up near the fire in a world that was quiet and warm. So let's keep that cozy feeling, that soft, sleepy warmth, as we get ready to see more of Agnes's life. Her story is just beginning, and it's going to be a gentle, peaceful journey, perfect for helping you relax and drift off. Let's hold on to the sound of the fire, the smell of bread, and the kindness of Agnes as we move forward nice and slow into her world. It's early morning in the little medieval village in England, way back in the 1300s. The world is quiet, and the sky is just starting to turn from dark to soft gray. Agnes, our kind cook with flour-dusted hands, wakes up when the first bits of light slip through the cracks in the wooden shutters of her small house. She doesn't need a noisy rooster to crow or an alarm clock to beep. Her body just knows it's time to start the day, like it can feel the sun getting ready to rise. Let's follow Agnes as she begins her morning, nice and slow, in a way that feels cozy and calm, like a warm blanket on a chilly day. Agnes opens her eyes and lies still for a moment. Her bed is just a pile of straw on the floor, covered with a scratchy wool blanket. It's not soft like a modern bed, but it's warm because she sleeps close to the fire. The fire is low now, just a few glowing coals left from the night before. The air in the house is cool, and Agnes can see her breath puff out in little clouds. She stretches her arms above her head, and her joints make creaking sounds, like an old wooden gate swinging open. "Oh, my bones," she might whisper to herself, smiling a little because she's used to it. She sits up, rubbing her eyes with her knuckles. Her brown hair is messy, with a few strands sticking out from the cloth she ties it back with. She yawns, a big, slow yawn that makes her whole face scrunch up. "Cold this morning," she mutters, her voice soft and sleepy. She pulls her blanket around her shoulders for a moment like a cape to keep warm. Then she shuffles across the dirt floor to the hearth where the fire waits. Her feet are bare and the floor feels chilly, but she knows the fire will warm her up soon. The hearth is in the middle of the room, a flat stone circle where the fire burns. Agnes kneels down, her knees pressing into the cool dirt. She picks up a stick from a pile nearby and pokes at the coals. They glow red like tiny stars hiding in the ash. She blows gently and the coals brighten, sending up little sparks. "Come on now," she says to the fire as if it's a sleepy friend. She adds a handful of kindling, small, dry sticks she keeps in a basket. The kindling catches and soon the flames wake up, crackling and dancing. The fire is alive again, filling the room with a soft, golden light. Agnes smiles at the fire. It's her helper, her partner in all her work. She stands up, her blanket still around her shoulders, and stretches again. Her house is small, with wooden walls and a straw roof. The air smells like smoke and earth, with a faint hint of the bread she baked yesterday. Her sister's family is still asleep nearby, her sister Maud and Maud's kids Ella and Tom. Even Bramble, the shaggy old dog, is snoring by the hearth, his paws twitching like he's dreaming of chasing rabbits. Agnes moves quietly so she doesn't wake them. This is her time, the quiet start of the day. She ties her apron around her waist, a white cloth that's smudged with soot and flour. Her dress is simple, made of rough wool, and it's a little worn at the hem. She doesn't mind, it's good for working. She yawns again, muttering to herself about the cold. "Need to warm this place up," she says, adding another log to the fire. The flames grow and the room starts to feel cozier. Agnes can feel the warmth on her face, like a gentle hug from the sun. It makes her eyelids feel heavy, even though the day is just beginning. Now it's time to start her work. Agnes walks to a wooden table in the corner of the room. On the table is a stone quern, a tool for grinding grain into flour. It's two flat stones, one on top of the other, with a handle to turn them. Agnes picks up a handful of barley grains from a sack. The grains are small and hard, like tiny pebbles. She pours them into a hole in the top stone and starts turning the handle. The stones grind together, making a soft, scraping sound. It's slow work and her arms get tired, but Agnes doesn't rush. She likes the rhythm, the way it feels steady and calm. As she grinds, Agnes hums a little tune, something she learned when she was a girl. It's a simple song with no words, just a soft melody that mixes with the fire's crackle. The flour starts to spill out from between the stones, white and powdery. Agnes scoops it into a wooden bowl, careful not to let any fall on the floor. She'll use this flour to make bread later, crusty loaves that her family loves. For now, she keeps grinding, turning the handle, watching the flour pile up. It's quiet work, the kind that makes her mind feel soft and sleepy, even as the sun rises outside. Let's picture Agnes at her table. The fire is glowing behind her, casting shadows on the wooden walls. Her hands are busy turning the quern and her apron is already dusted with flour. Her face is calm, with a small smile, like she's happy to be here, doing what she loves. The room is warming up and the air smells like smoke and barley. Outside, the village is starting to wake up. A rooster crows in the distance and a dog barks. But inside, it's just Agnes, the fire, and the soft sound of grinding. Agnes finishes grinding enough flour for the day's bread. She covers the bowl with a cloth to keep the flour clean and wipes her hands on her apron. "That's done," she says to herself, nodding. She looks at the fire, which is burning nicely now. She adds another log just to be sure it stays strong. Then she walks to a shelf on the wall where she keeps her cooking things. There's a wooden spoon, a knife with a worn handle, and a few clay pots. She picks up a small pot and fills it with water from a bucket by the door. The water comes from the village well, and it's cold and clear. Agnes carries the pot to the fire and sets it on a metal tripod over the flames. She's going to make pottage, a thick soup that's her family's breakfast most days. She adds a handful of barley to the water, then some dried peas from a sack. She stirs it with her wooden spoon, watching the water start to bubble. "Good morning, pottage," she says, chuckling to herself. Agnes likes to talk to her food sometime. It makes the work feel less lonely. While the pottage simmers, Agnes sweeps the floor with a broom made of twigs. The dirt floor is smooth, but bits of straw and ash always scatter around. She sweeps carefully, humming her tune again. The fire crackles and the pottage starts to smell good, like warm, earthy food. Agnes's stomach rumbles and she laughs. Patience, tummy, she says. She's hungry, but she wants to make sure everything is ready before she eats. That's how Agnes is, always taking care of things, making sure her family has what they need. Let's imagine the village outside as Agnes works. The sun is up now, peeking through the trees and turning the sky pink and gold. The houses are small, with straw roofs and wooden walls. Smoke curls up from their roofs as other families light their fires. A few people are outside, starting their day. A farmer leads a cow to the field, and a woman carries a basket of laundry to the river. Kids are waking up, rubbing their eyes and running out to play. But Agnes is in her house, focused on her work, with the fire keeping her warm. Agnes checks the pottage, stirring it again. It's starting to thicken, and the smell makes her smile. She adds a pinch of herbs, mint and parsley from her garden. The herbs are dried, tied in little bundles, and they make the pottage taste fresh and bright. Agnes knows just how much to add, not too much, not too little. She's been cooking for years, and her hands know what to do without thinking. She stirs slowly, watching the spoon move through the soup, and her eyelids feel heavy again. The morning is so quiet, so peaceful, it's like the world is still half asleep. Now Agnes starts preparing for the bread. She takes the bowl of flour and adds a bit of water and a pinch of salt. She mixes it with her hands, squishing the dough until it's soft and stretchy. Kneading dough is hard work. Her arms push and pull and her shoulders get tired, but Agnes likes it. It's like a dance, slow and steady, with the dough as her partner. She hums as she kneads, and the fire pops like it's singing along. The dough smells yeasty, like it's alive, and Agnes pats it gently. "You'll be good bread," she says. Let's picture Agnes kneading the dough. Her hands are strong, with little scars from years of cooking. Her apron is dusted with flour, and a bit of dough sticks to her fingers. The fire is warm behind her, and the pottage is simmering, filling the room with a cozy smell. Bramble the dog wakes up and stretches, his tail wagging. He shuffles over to Agnes and nudges her leg, hopping for a treat. Agnes laughs, a soft bell-like sound, and tosses him a tiny piece of dough. "Don't tell Maud," she whispers, winking at Bramble. The house is starting to feel alive now. Maud wakes up, yawning and stretching. "Morning, Agnes," she says, her voice sleepy. Ella and Tom are still asleep, curled up under their blankets. Agnes keeps her work quiet, not wanting to wake the kids yet. She shapes the dough into round loaves and sets them near the fire to rise. The warmth from the flames will help the dough grow big and fluffy. Agnes covers the loaves with a cloth and nods. "Rest now," she says to the dough, like it's a child she's tucking in. Agnes sits on a stool by the fire, taking a moment to rest. Her hands are tired from grinding and kneading, and her eyes are still a little sleepy. She sips a cup of water, cool and fresh from the well. The fire crackles and the pottage bubbles, and the room feels so warm, so safe. Agnes looks around her house at the simple wooden walls, the straw roof, the sleeping family. She feels happy even though her day has just started. This is her world and she loves it. Let's think about why Agnes's morning feels so special. It's not because she's doing big, exciting things. She's just grinding flour, stirring pottage, kneading dough, simple, quiet work. But it's work she knows well, work that matters. Her food will feed her family, make them strong for the day. The fire is her helper, keeping her warm and cooking her food. The morning is slow, with no rush, no loud noises. It's the kind of morning that makes you feel calm, like you could close your eyes and drift back to sleep. Agnes gets up and checks the pottage again. It's almost ready, thick and steamy. She tastes it with her spoon, nodding. "Needs a bit more salt," she says, sprinkling in a tiny pinch. She stirs again, slow and careful, watching the herbs swirl in the soup. The smell is so good, it makes her stomach rumble again. She laughs softly, patting her tummy. Soon, she says. She loves this part of the morning when the food is coming together and the house is starting to wake up. Outside, the village is getting busier. Agnes can hear footsteps on the dirt path and a neighbor calls out a greeting. The sun is higher now, shining through the cracks in the shutters. Agnes opens one shutter, letting in a beam of light. It falls across the floor, making the room feel brighter. She looks out at the village, small houses, green fields, a few chickens scratching in the dirt. It's a simple place, but it's home, and Agnes feels lucky to be here. Let's imagine sitting with Agnes by the fire. The pottage is simmering and the dough is rising. The fire is warm and the air smells like food and smoke. Agnes is humming, her voice soft and happy. She looks at you and smiles, her eyes crinkling. "Morning's nice, isn't it?" she says. You nod, feeling cozy and calm. The world outside is waking up, but here it's just you, Agnes, and the fire, starting the day slow and easy. Agnes's morning is full of little tasks, but they all feel connected, like pieces of a puzzle. Grinding the flour, kneading the dough, stirring the pottage, it's all part of making food, taking care of her family. The fire ties it all together, giving her warmth and light and a way to cook. Agnes moves through her tasks with a steady rhythm, like a song she knows by heart. It's hard work, but it's good work, the kind that makes her feel strong and needed. As the morning goes on, Agnes keeps working. She checks the dough, poking it to see if it's ready. It's soft and puffy, so she shapes it into loaves and sets them near the fire to bake later. She stirs the pottage one more time, making sure it's perfect. She sweeps the floor again because ash from the fire keeps falling. She talks to Bramble, who's wagging his tail and looking hopeful. "No more dough for you," she says, laughing. The house is warm now, and the smell of pottage and rising dough fills the air. Let's picture the village one more time. The sun is up and the sky is blue with a few fluffy clouds. People are working, farmers in the fields, weavers at their looms, kids playing by the river. Agnes is in her house, doing her part to keep the village going. Her pottage will feed her family and maybe some neighbors too. Her bread will be warm and crusty, perfect for dipping in soup. The fire is her helper, her friend, making it all possible. Agnes's morning is almost done now. The pottage is ready and the dough is rising. Maud is up, helping with small tasks, and Ella and Tom are starting to stir. Agnes feels good, like she's off to a great start. Her body is awake, but her mind is still soft, still a little sleepy. The fire crackles and the house feels like a warm, safe hug. This is how Agnes begins her day, with quiet work, a warm fire, and a heart full of love. So let's hold on to this cozy feeling, this slow, gentle morning with Agnes. Her day is just starting, and we'll see more of it soon. How she cooks, how she cares for her family, how she rests. For now, let's stay with her in this quiet moment, with the fire glowing and the pottage simmering, as the village wakes up around her. It's mid-morning in the little medieval village in England, way back in the 1300s. The sun is higher now, shining through the trees and warming the dirt paths between the houses. Agnes, our kind cook with flour-dusted hands, is deep in her work. She's in her small house, standing by the fire, moving like she's part of a gentle song. Her hands know what to do without her even thinking: stir the pottage, chop the leeks, feed the fire. Each task is small, like a single note in a lullaby, but together they make her day feel full and steady. Let's follow Agnes as she works, nice and slow, in a way that feels cozy and calm, like sitting by a warm fire on a cool day. Agnes is in her kitchen, which is really just the main room of her house. The fire is burning in the center on a stone hearth, giving off a soft, golden glow. The air is warm and thick, filled with the smell of herbs, smoke, and the pottage simmering in a pot. Pottage is a thick soup, like a stew, made with barley, peas, and whatever vegetables Agnes has. It's bubbling gently, sending up little puffs of steam that make the room feel even cozier. Agnes hums a tune, something soft and simple she half remembers from when she was a little girl. It's a happy sound, mixing with the fire's crackle, like they're singing together. Her hands are busy, moving from one task to the next. First, she stirs the pottage with a wooden spoon. The The spoon is smooth from years of use and it fits perfectly in her hand. She moves it slowly, watching the soup swirl, making sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. The pottage is thick now, almost ready for lunch. Agnes leans over the pot, breathing in the warm, earthy smell. Almost done, she says to herself, smiling. Her voice is quiet, like she's talking to a friend. Next, Agnes walks to a wooden table in the corner. On the table is a pile of leeks, long green vegetables that look like big onions. She picks up a knife with a worn handle and starts chopping. The knife makes a soft thump-thump on the wooden board, a steady sound that matches the rhythm of her work. The leeks are fresh, pulled from her garden this morning, and they smell sharp and green. Agnes chops them into small pieces, her hands moving fast but careful. She sweeps the pieces into a bowl with her hand, ready to add them to the pottage later. Let's picture Agnes at her table. Her apron is smudged with flour and soot, and a bit of leek is stuck to her sleeve. Her brown hair is tied back, but a few strands fall loose, brushing her cheek. The fire is warm behind her, and the room smells like food and smoke. She's humming her tune, her eyes focused on the leeks. Her shoulders are a little sore from grinding flour earlier, but it's a good sore, the kind that makes her feel like she's done something important. The village is busy outside with people working and kids playing, but Agnes is in her own world, moving from one tiny task to the next. Now Agnes goes back to the fire. It's burning well, but it needs more wood to keep going. She picks up a log from a pile by the hearth and sets it carefully on the flames. The fire hisses and pops like it's happy to have more to eat. Agnes pokes the logs with a stick, moving them so the fire burns evenly. "There you go," she says to the fire as if it can hear her. The flames grow brighter and the room feels even warmer. Agnes wipes her forehead with the back of her hand, leaving a smudge of soot. She chuckles, shaking her head. "Always a mess," she mutters. The fire is Agnes's best friend. It cooks her food, warms her house, and makes her feel safe. She knows how to keep it just right, not too big, not too small. She can tell when it needs more wood just by listening to its crackle or looking at its color. It's like a dance, her and the fire moving together all day. Every time she feeds it, she feels a little spark of joy, like she's keeping her house alive. And at the end of the day, that fire will help her sleep, wrapping her in warmth like a soft blanket. Agnes goes back to the pottage, giving it another stir. She adds the chopped leeks, sprinkling them into the pot. They sink into the soup, and the smell gets even better, fresh and green mixed with the warm barley. She stirs slowly, watching the leeks blend in. "That's nice," she says, nodding. She tastes a tiny bit with her spoon, closing her eyes to savor it. "Needs a bit more mint," she decides. She walks to a shelf where she keeps her herbs, tied in little bundles. She picks a sprig of dried mint, crumbles it between her fingers, and sprinkles it into the pot. Let's imagine sitting with Agnes by the fire. The pottage is simmering and the air smells so good, like a warm, cozy meal. The fire is crackling and Agnes is humming, her hands always moving. She looks at you and smiles, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Want to help stir?" she asks, holding out the spoon. You take it and stir the pottage, feeling the warmth of the fire on your face. It's slow, easy work, and it makes you feel calm, like you could stay here all day, just helping Agnes. Agnes's tasks are small, but they all matter. Stirring the pottage keeps it from burning. Chopping the leeks adds flavor. Feeding the fire keeps the house warm. Each task is like a step in a long, gentle walk, pulling her closer to the end of the day when she can rest. She doesn't think about how many tasks she has to do. She just does one at a time, letting her hands lead the way. Her body knows the rhythm, like it's been doing this forever. And it has. Agnes has been cooking since she was a girl, learning from her own mother by the fire. Now Agnes checks the bread dough she made earlier. It's been sitting near the fire, covered with a cloth, getting puffy and ready to bake. She lifts the cloth and pokes the dough with her finger. It's soft and springy, just right. "Good job," she says to the dough like it's a pet that's been behaving. She shapes it into loaves, her hands quick and sure. She sets the loaves near the fire again, where the warmth will help them rise a bit more before baking. The smell of the dough is yeasty and warm, making her stomach rumble. Agnes laughs at her hungry tummy. Patience, she says, patting her apron. She's used to being hungry in the morning, but she doesn't eat yet. She wants to make sure everything is ready for her family, Maud, Ella, and Tom. They're up now, moving around the house. Ella is sweeping the floor and Tom is playing with Bramble, tossing a stick for the dog to chase. Maud is folding blankets, getting the house tidy. Agnes loves the sound of her family, even when they're noisy. It makes the house feel alive, like the fire. Let's picture the village outside. The sun is bright and the air is warm now, not chilly like it was at dawn. People are working, farmers in the fields, weavers at their looms, kids running and laughing. Smoke curls up from the houses and the smell of food drifts through the air. Agnes's house is part of it all, with its own fire and its own smells. She's cooking for her family, but she's also part of the village, making food that might feed a neighbor or two. Her work is small, but it's important, like a thread in a big, cozy blanket. Agnes goes to her garden for a moment, stepping outside to pick some herbs. The garden is small, just a patch of dirt by the house, but it's full of good things: mint, parsley, and some carrots. She kneels down, her apron brushing the ground, and pulls a few sprigs of parsley. The leaves are green and soft, and they smell fresh like spring. She tucks them into her apron and heads back inside, humming her tune. The sun feels nice on her face, but she's happy to be back by the fire, where it's warm and familiar. Back in the house, Agnes adds the parsley to the pottage, tearing the leaves into tiny pieces. She stirs again, slow and steady, watching the soup come together. Her shoulders ache a little more now from all the stirring and chopping. But it's a good ache, the kind that tells her she's working hard, doing what she loves. She sits on a stool for a moment, resting her hands in her lap. The fire crackles and the pottage bubbles, and she feels so calm, like the world is just right. Agnes's sister, Maud, comes over and peeks at the pottage. "Smells good," Maud says, smiling. Agnes nods, proud but not boastful. "It'll be ready soon," she says. Maud pats her shoulder, and Agnes feels warm inside, not just from the fire. She loves her family, and she loves knowing her food will make them happy. Ella and Tom are still playing, their voices loud and happy. Bramble barks, chasing Tom's stick. Agnes laughs, shaking her head. "Noisy bunch," she says, but her smile says she wouldn't have it any other way. Let's think about why Agnes's work feels so special. It's not because she's doing big things like building a castle or fighting a dragon. She's just doing small tasks, one after another: stir, chop, feed the fire. But those tasks add up to something big. They make food that feeds her family, that keeps them strong. They make her house warm and cozy, a safe place to rest. And they make Agnes feel good, like she's part of something important. Her work is like a lullaby, steady and soothing, pulling her closer to the end of the day. Agnes gets up and checks the fire again. It's burning low, so she adds another log. The flames jump up, bright and happy, and the room feels even warmer. She wipes her hands on her apron, leaving another smudge. "Always dirty," she says, chuckling. She doesn't mind. The dirt and flour are part of her work, like badges of honor. She stirs the pottage one more time, making sure it's perfect. The leeks and herbs have made it so tasty. She knows her family will love it. Now Agnes starts another task, cleaning her knife and board. She dips a cloth in water and wipes the knife, careful not to cut herself. The board is sticky with leek juice, so she scrubs it hard, humming as she works. The fire crackles and Bramble comes over, sniffing the board, hopping for a scrap. "Nothing for you," Agnes says, shooing him away with a smile. Bramble flops down by the fire, his tail thumping. Agnes shakes her head, amused. "Lazy dog," she says. The morning is moving along, and Agnes's tasks keep going one by one. She checks the dough again, making sure it's rising. She sweeps the floor because ash from the fire keeps falling. She stirs the pottage, adds a bit more water to keep it from getting too thick. Each task is small, but it feels good to do them. Her hands move without thinking, like they know the steps by heart. Her shoulders ache, but it's a soft ache, the kind that promises sleep later when the day is done. Let's imagine the house now. The fire is glowing and the pottage is simmering, filling the room with a warm, yummy smell. Agnes is busy, moving from the table to the fire to the shelf, always doing something. Maud is helping Ella braid her hair and Tom is still playing with Bramble. The village outside is alive with sounds, people talking, chickens clucking, a cart creaking by. But inside, it's Agnes's world, full of small tasks and cozy warmth. You can almost feel the fire's heat, hear the pottage bubbling, smell the herbs and smoke. Agnes's work is never really done, but she doesn't mind. Each task is a step toward feeding her family, making them happy. She loves the rhythm of it, the way it feels like a gentle song. Stir, chop, feed the fire over and over, steady and calm. Her hands are tired, her shoulders sore, but her heart is full. She knows that when the day ends, she'll lie down by the fire, and the warmth will wrap around her, helping her sleep so well. Let's picture Agnes one more time. She's standing by the fire, stirring the pottage. Her apron is a mess, her hands are dusty, but her face is calm with a small smile. The fire crackles and her hum fills the air, soft and sweet. She's in her rhythm, doing one tiny task at a time, each one pulling her closer to rest. The village is busy, her family is noisy, but Agnes is steady like a rock in a stream. Her work is simple, but it's everything, and it makes her world warm and cozy. So let's hold on to this gentle feeling, this slow, soothing rhythm of Agnes's morning. Her day is moving forward and we'll see more of it soon. How she finishes her food, how she shares it with her family, how she rests. For now, let's stay with her in this cozy moment, with the fire glowing and the pottage simmering as she works one tiny task at a time. It's afternoon in the little medieval village in England, way back in the 1300s. The sun is high in the sky, shining warm and bright over the houses with their straw roofs. Agnes, our kind cook with flour-dusted hands, has been working all morning. Her body is starting to feel tired, like it's ready to slow down. She's been carrying heavy buckets of water, kneading dough for bread, and turning the spit to roast meat over the fire. All these tasks add up, making her arms and legs feel soft and heavy, like they're made of warm clay. Let's follow Agnes as she feels this cozy tiredness, nice and slow, in a way that feels calm and sleepy, like curling up under a soft blanket. Agnes is in her small house, standing by the fire in the middle of the room. The fire is burning steadily, giving off a warm, golden glow that makes the air feel thick and cozy. The smell of pottage, a thick soup she made earlier, still lingers, mixed with the smoky scent of the fire. Her apron is smudged with flour, soot, and bits of herbs, and her brown hair is messy, with strands sticking out from her cloth headband. She's been busy all day, and now her body is telling her it's time to take it easy. Agnes picks up a heavy bucket of water she brought from the village well. The bucket is made of wood, and it's full to the brim, sloshing a little as she carries it. Her arms ache as she lifts it, setting it down by the fire. "Oof," she says, wiping her forehead with the back of her hand. A smudge of flour stays on her face, but she doesn't notice. She needs the water to clean her pots and maybe add to the pottage later. Carrying water is hard work. Her shoulders feel tight, and her hands are sore from gripping the bucket's handle. She sits on a wooden stool for a moment, letting out a long, cozy sigh. "Oh, my bones," she says, smiling a little. Her sigh is soft, like a breeze, and it makes her feel lighter. Her arms are heavy, like they want to rest, and her legs feel wobbly, like they've walked a long way. But this tiredness isn't bad. It's a good kind of tired, the kind that tells her she's worked hard and done important things. It's a gift because it means when nighttime comes, she'll fall asleep easily. No tossing or turning, just sinking into her straw bed like a warm hug. Let's picture Agnes on her stool. The fire is crackling, sending little sparks up into the air. Her apron is a mess and her hands are resting in her lap, still dusty with flour. Her eyes are half closed and her face is calm with a small smile. The room is warm and the air smells like smoke and herbs. Outside, the village is busy. Kids are laughing, a cow moos in the field and someone is chopping wood. But inside, it's quiet, just Agnes and the fire, taking a moment to rest. Agnes thinks about all the work she's done today. She started early, grinding barley into flour with her stone quern. That made her arms tired, turning the heavy stones over and over. Then she kneaded dough for bread, pushing and pulling until it was soft and stretchy. Her shoulders got sore from that, but the dough turned into perfect loaves, now baking by the fire. She stirred pottage, chopped leeks, and added herbs, standing by the fire for hours. The heat made her face warm, and the stirring made her hands ache. And then there was the spit, a long stick with a piece of meat roasting over the fire. She turned it slowly, making sure it cooked evenly, and that made her arms feel like they were made of jelly. All these tasks add up, like stacking stones one by one until you have a big pile. Agnes's body feels heavy now, like it's ready to melt. She stretches her arms and her joints creak like an old wooden door. Time to slow down, she says to herself, yawning. Her yawn is big, making her eyes water, and it feels so good, like her body is saying, rest is coming. She wipes her brow again, leaving another smudge, and chuckles. Always a mess, she says, shaking her head. The fire is her friend, making everything better. Its warmth wraps around her like a soft blanket you pull up to your chin. The flames dance, and the crackling sound is like a lullaby, soft and steady. Agnes leans closer to the fire, feeling its heat on her hands and face. It soothes her sore muscles, making her shoulders relax and her arms feel less heavy. The fire is like a hug that never goes away, and it promises her that sleep will be sweet tonight, deep and calm, with no worries to keep her awake. Let's imagine sitting with Agnes by the fire. The pottage is done, simmering low in its pot, and the bread is baking, filling the room with a toasty smell. Agnes is on her stool, her hands folded, her eyes sleepy. She looks at you and smiles, her eyes crinkling. Tired yet? She asks, her voice soft like a whisper. You nod, feeling a little sleepy yourself just from watching her. The fire is warm and the room is cozy, like a safe little world where nothing can bother you. Agnes gets up, moving slowly because her body is so tired. She needs to check the bread, so she kneels by the fire. The loaves are baking in a clay oven next to the hearth, where the fire's heat makes them golden and crusty. She pokes one with her finger and it feels firm. Almost ready, she says, nodding. The smell of the bread is so good, it makes her stomach rumble, even though she's too tired to eat right now. She covers the loaves with a cloth to keep them warm and stands up, her knees creaking like old wood. She walks to the table, where her knife and cutting board are still messy from chopping leeks. She dips a cloth in the bucket of water and wipes the board, scrubbing gently. Her hands move slowly, like they're too tired to hurry. The cloth gets green from the leek juice, and Agnes hums a little tune, the same one she's been humming all morning. It's a soft, happy sound, like a bird singing quietly. The fire crackles, and Bramble, the shaggy dog, stretches by the hearth, his tail thumping. Agnes smiles at him. Lazy dog, she says, but her voice is full of love. Agnes's family is around now, making the house feel lively. Her sister Maud is folding clothes, stacking them neatly. Ella, Maud's daughter, is playing with a straw doll, making it dance on the floor. Tom, Maud's son, is tossing a stick for Bramble, laughing when the dog chases it. Agnes loves the noise of her family, even when it's loud. It makes her feel like her work matters because she's feeding them, keeping them happy. But right now she's so tired, she just wants to sit and let her body rest. She goes back to her stool and sits again, letting out another long sigh. Oh my, she says, rubbing her shoulders. Her arms feel like they're made of warm clay, soft and heavy, like they could melt into the floor. Her legs are tired too from standing and walking all morning. She closes her eyes for a moment, listening to the fire. Its crackle is soft, like a friend whispering, "You did good today." Agnes smiles, feeling the warmth on her face. This tiredness is her reward, a sign that she's worked hard and earned her rest. Let's think about why Agnes's tiredness feels so good. It's not like being tired after running around or staying up too late. It's a deep, cozy tiredness, the kind that comes from using your body all day. Carrying water made her arms strong but heavy. Kneading dough made her hands sore but proud. Turning the spit made her shoulders ache but satisfied. Every task was like a step toward a big, warm sleep, the kind where you close your eyes and drift away. No worries, no dreams, just rest. Agnes opens her eyes and looks at the fire. The flames are lower now, so she adds a log from the pile by the hearth. The fire hisses and pops like it's happy to have more to burn. She pokes the logs with a stick, moving them so the flames spread evenly. The warmth grows, wrapping her like a soft, invisible blanket. Her body feels heavier, like it's sinking into the stool. She yawns again, covering her mouth with her hand. "Oh, Agnes," she says, laughing softly. "You're ready for a nap." But it's not time to rest yet. Agnes has more to do before the day is done. She stands up, moving slowly, and checks the pottage. It's still warm, but it needs a stir to keep it from sticking. She picks up her wooden spoon and moves it through the soup, slow and steady. The pottage is thick, with bits of leeks and herbs floating in it. She tastes a tiny bit, nodding. "Good," she says. She covers the pot with a lid to keep it warm for lunch when her family will eat together. Agnes's house is small, with wooden walls and a straw roof. The fire is the heart of it, making everything warm and cozy. The air smells like smoke, bread, and pottage, with a hint of the herbs she used. The room is simple. There's a table, a few stools, and some shelves with pots and spoons. Her family's blankets are folded in a corner, and their straw beds are nearby. It's not fancy, but it's home, and Agnes loves it. The fire makes it special, like a warm hug that never stops. Let's picture the village outside. The sun is warm and the air is full of sounds, kids shouting, a hammer banging, a cow mooing. The houses are small, with smoke curling up from their roofs. People are working, farmers in the fields, weavers making cloth, women carrying water. Agnes's house is part of this busy world, but inside it's her own little space where she can work and rest. Her tiredness is part of it, too, a sign that she's doing her share, making food for her family and neighbors. Agnes walks to the door and opens it, letting in a breeze. The air outside is fresh, with the smell of grass and earth. She steps out for a moment, stretching her arms. The sun feels nice on her face, but it makes her eyes squint. She looks at the village, green fields, small houses, a few chickens pecking in the dirt. A neighbor waves, and Agnes waves back, her arm moving slowly because it's so tired. "Food's almost ready," she calls, her voice cheerful despite her exhaustion. Back inside, Agnes checks the bread again. The loaves are golden now, with crusty tops that smell so good. She pulls them from the oven using a long stick, careful not to burn her hands. The bread is hot, so she sets it on the table to cool. "Perfect," she says, patting one loaf like it's a pet. The smell of fresh bread fills the room, making her stomach rumble. She's hungry, but she's too tired to eat just yet. She wants to finish her task, make sure everything is ready for her family. Agnes sits on her stool again, her body sinking into it. Her arms are so heavy, she lets them rest in her lap. Her shoulders ache and her hands are sore from all the work. She closes her eyes just for a moment and listens to the fire. Its crackle is soft and steady, like a heartbeat. The warmth wraps around her, soothing her aches, making her feel like she could drift off right there. But she opens her eyes and smiles. "Not yet," she says to herself. "Soon." Maud comes over, carrying a basket of vegetables from the garden. "You look tired, Agnes," she says, her voice kind. Agnes nods, yawning. "It's a good tired," she says. Maud laughs and pats her shoulder. "You work too hard," she says, but Agnes shakes her head. "I like it," she says, her eyes crinkling with a smile. Ella and Tom run in, their faces red from playing outside. "Is the bread ready?" Tom asks, sniffing the air. Agnes chuckles. "Almost, greedy boy," she says, shooing him away. The house is noisy now, with Ella and Tom talking and Bramble barking at a fly. Agnes loves the sound, even though it makes her tired head feel a little fuzzy. She gets up, moving slowly, and starts another task, cleaning her spoon and knife. She dips a cloth in water and wipes them, her hands moving like they're half asleep. The fire crackles and the bread smells so good it's hard to focus. Her body is ready to rest, but her heart wants to keep going to finish her work. Let's think about how Agnes's tiredness is like a promise. It's not something to fight, it's something to welcome. Her heavy arms, her sore shoulders, her wobbly legs, they're all saying, "You did good today, and tonight you'll sleep so well." The fire helps too, with its warmth and its soft sounds. It's like a friend who's always there, ready to wrap her in coziness when the day is done. Agnes knows this, and it makes her smile. Even when she's so tired she can barely keep her eyes open. Agnes checks the fire one more time, adding a small log. The flames flicker and the warmth grows, making her eyelids droop. She yawns again, a big, sleepy yawn that makes her laugh. "Oh my," she says, rubbing her eyes. Her body feels like it's made of warm, soft clay, ready to melt into her straw bed. But she has a little more to do: tidy the table, stir the pottage, make sure the bread is safe from bramble. Sneaky paws. Each task is small, but it's part of her day, part of her love for her family. The afternoon is moving on and the village is still busy. Agnes can hear footsteps outside and a neighbor's voice calling to a child. The sun is lower now, casting long shadows across the fields. Inside, the house is warm and full of life, Maud humming, Ella singing to her doll, Tom teasing Bramble. Agnes's tiredness is deep, but it's comforting, like a heavy blanket that makes you want to close your eyes. She knows that when night comes, she'll lie down by the fire and sleep will come easily, wrapping her in its soft, warm arms. Let's picture Agnes one more time. She's standing by the fire, her hands resting on her hips. Her apron is a mess, her face is smudged, but her eyes are calm with a sleepy smile. The fire is glowing and the pottage is ready and the bread is cooling on the table. Her body is tired, her arms heavy, her shoulders sore. But it's a good tired, a gift that promises a deep, sweet sleep. The fire's warmth is all around her like a hug that says, rest is coming. So let's hold on to this cozy feeling, this soft, sleepy tiredness of Agnes's afternoon. Her day is moving forward and we'll see more of it soon. How she shares her food, how she prepares for night, how she rests. For now, let's stay with her in this gentle moment, with the fire crackling and her body ready to melt as the village hums around her. It's night time in the little medieval village in England, way back in the 1300s. The sun has gone down and the stars are twinkling in the dark sky. Agnes, our kind cook with flour-dusted hands, is ready to rest after a long day of work. She doesn't have a fancy bed like we do today with a soft mattress and fluffy pillows. Instead, she sleeps on a simple straw mattress near the fire in her small house. It's thin and a bit lumpy, covered with a rough wool blanket, but it's hers and it works just fine. Let's explore Agnes's bedtime world, nice and slow, in a way that feels cozy and sleepy, like snuggling under a warm blanket. Agnes's house is small, with wooden walls and a straw roof. The fire is in the middle of the room on a stone hearth, and it's burning low now, just a soft glow of coals and flames. The air smells like smoke and earth, with a hint of the pottage and bread Agnes cooked earlier. The room is quiet, except for the gentle crackle of the fire and the soft breathing of her family. Her sister Maud, Maud's kids Ella and Tom, and Bramble, the shaggy dog. Agnes is tired, her body heavy from carrying water, kneading dough, and stirring pots all day. She's ready to lie down and let sleep wrap around her like a hug. Agnes's bed isn't a real bed like we know. It's a mattress made of straw, spread out on the dirt floor near the hearth. The straw is stuffed into a big cloth sack, tied shut with string. It's not thick or soft, it's thin and a little bumpy, with bits of straw poking through sometimes. But Agnes doesn't mind. She's used to it, and it holds her tired body just fine. She shakes the mattress a little, fluffing the straw to make it as comfy as possible. "There we go," she says, her voice soft and sleepy. She covers the mattress with a wool blanket, rough and scratchy but warm. The blanket is old, with a few holes from years of use, but it's heavy and keeps the cold away. It smells like smoke from the fire and a bit like the earth outside, but to Agnes that smell is home. Sometimes when she's feeling fancy, she adds a sprig of lavender to her bed. Lavender is a purple flower that grows in her garden, and it smells sweet like a sunny day. She tucks the sprig under the blanket, where it gives off a gentle scent that makes her smile. Let's picture Agnes getting her bed ready. The fire is glowing, casting a warm, golden light on the wooden walls. Her apron is hanging on a hook, still smudged with flour and soot. Her brown hair is loose now, falling over her shoulders as she shakes the straw mattress. Her hands are tired, but they move slowly, carefully, making the bed just right. The room is cozy, with shadows dancing on the walls from the fire's flames. Agnes yawns, a big, sleepy yawn, and mutters, "Time to rest, old bones." Agnes kneels by the mattress and smooths the blanket with her hands. The straw crunches a little under her touch, like dry leaves. She pats it, making sure it's even, and checks for any sharp bits of straw that might poke her. "Good enough," she says, nodding. She stands up, her joints creaking like old wood, and stretches her arms. Her body feels heavy, like it's ready to sink into the bed and stay there all night. The fire's warmth is all around her, making her eyelids droop and her heart feel calm. The bed isn't soft like a modern mattress, but it works for Agnes. It cradles her body, holding her close to the ground. The straw is firm, but it molds to her shape like a hug from the earth. The blanket is rough, but it traps the fire's heat, keeping her warm even when the night gets cold. Agnes doesn't need a big, fluffy bed to sleep well. Her simple mattress is enough because it's hers and it's next to the fire, which makes everything better. Let's imagine lying on Agnes's bed. You sink into the straw, feeling it crunch and shift under you. It's a little lumpy, but it holds you up like a nest. The wool blanket is heavy, pulling you down, and it smells like smoke and lavender. The fire is just a few steps away, its glow dancing on the walls like a soft, moving picture. You can hear it crackle, a gentle sound that's like a lullaby. The room feels alive, safe, like nothing can bother you here. You close your eyes and the warmth wraps around you, making you feel so sleepy. Agnes's bed is near the hearth because the fire is her friend. It keeps her warm all night, even when the air outside is frosty. The glow of the flames lights up the room so it's never too dark. The crackling sound is comforting, like a voice saying, "You're safe, go to sleep." Agnes loves sleeping close to the fire. It makes her feel cozy, like she's wrapped in a big, warm hug. Her tired body melts into the straw and her mind drifts, ready for dreams. Agnes's family sleeps nearby on their own straw mattresses. Maud is a few steps away, her blanket pulled up to her chin. Ella and Tom are curled up together, their faces soft and sleepy. Bramble the dog is by the fire, his shaggy fur warm from the flames. His snores are loud like little grumbles, and Agnes smiles when she hears them. Having her family close makes the bed feel even better. It's not just straw and wool. It's a place where she's surrounded by love, safe and sound. The room is simple, with no fancy decorations. The walls are rough wood, darkened by years of smoke. The floor is packed dirt, smooth from people walking on it. There's a wooden table in the corner with a knife and some pots. A few shelves hold Agnes's cooking things, spoons, bowls, and bundles of herbs. The fire is the heart of the room, making it feel alive. Its light flickers, painting the walls with shadows that move like dancers. Agnes loves this room, especially at night when it's quiet and warm. Let's think about why Agnes's bed is so special, even though it's not perfect. It's not soft or big, but it's hers and it's part of her home. The straw is lumpy, but it holds her tired body like a friend. The blanket is scratchy, but it keeps her warm like a shield against the cold. The lavender is a small touch, but it makes her bed smell sweet like a little gift. And the fire, it's the best part, with its warmth and light and gentle sounds. Together, they make a bed that works, a place where Agnes can rest and feel safe. Agnes sits on her mattress for a moment, looking at the fire. The flames are low, just a soft glow, but they're enough to keep the room warm. She pulls her blanket around her shoulders like a cape and breathes in the smoky air. Her body is so tired, her arms heavy from kneading dough, her legs sore from standing. She yawns, her eyes watering, and laughs softly. "Oh, Agnes," she says, "you're ready for sleep." She lies down, sinking into the straw, and pulls the blanket over her. The straw crunches as she settles, and a few bits poke through the cloth. Agnes wiggles a little, finding a comfy spot. The blanket is heavy, pressing her down, and the lavender scent drifts up, sweet and calming. The fire's glow is soft, like a candle that never goes out. Agnes watches the shadows on the walls, her eyes half closed. The flames make shapes like trees or clouds, and she smiles, her mind already drifting. The crackle of the fire is like a song, steady and gentle, pulling her towards sleep. Let's imagine the village at night. The houses are dark, with only the glow of fires peeking through the cracks in the shutters. The air is cool, and the stars are bright like tiny lanterns in the sky. The village is quiet, except for a few sounds: an owl hooting, a dog barking far away, the wind rustling the straw roofs. Inside Agnes's house, it's different. The fire makes it warm, and the family's breathing makes it feel full of life. Agnes's bed is part of this world, a small, cozy corner where she can rest. Agnes's bed isn't just for sleeping, it's a place where she feels at home. She's been sleeping on straw her whole life, so it's normal to her. She doesn't dream of fancy beds or soft pillows. She loves her mattress with its lumps and smells because it's part of her life. The fire makes it even better, giving her warmth and light that make her feel safe. When she lies down, she doesn't worry about the day or what's coming tomorrow. She just lets her body sink into the straw, lets the fire's warmth wrap around her, and lets sleep come. The straw mattress is simple, but it's strong. It holds Agnes's weight, even when she's so tired she feels like she could sleep forever. The straw is dry, so it doesn't get moldy, and Agnes shakes it out sometimes to keep it fresh. She adds new straw when she can, making the mattress a little thicker. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. It's a place where she can rest her tired body, where she can close her eyes and feel the fire's glow, where she can dream of simple things like bread baking or flowers in her garden. The wool blanket is another part of Agnes's bed. It's not smooth like a modern blanket, it's rough like a sheep's wool before it's spun. But it's thick and heavy, trapping the fire's heat so Agnes stays warm all night. She mends the holes sometimes, sewing with a needle and thread, but she doesn't mind them. The blanket is like an old friend, full of stories from years of use. When she pulls it over her, it feels like a weight that says, "You're safe, you're warm, you can rest." The lavender is a special touch, but Agnes doesn't always have it. When she does, she feels a little fancy, like she's treating herself. She picks the lavender from her garden in the summer, drying it in bundles to use all year. The smell is soft, not strong, but it's enough to make her bed feel special. When she lies down, she breathes it in, and it calms her mind like a whisper that says, "Everything's okay." The lavender, the straw, the blanket, and the fire, they all work together, making a bed that's simple but perfect for Agnes. Let's picture Agnes lying on her bed. The straw is crunching softly as she shifts, finding the best spot. The blanket is heavy, covering her from her toes to her chin. The lavender scent is faint, mixing with the smoky smell of the fire. The fire's glow is dancing on the walls, making the room feel alive, like it's watching over her. Agnes's eyes are closing, her breathing slow and steady. She can hear Bramble snoring, Maud breathing, and the kids rustling in their sleep. The fire crackles, a gentle sound that's like a lullaby, pulling her into dreams. Agnes's bed is close to the hearth, just a few steps away. She can feel the fire's warmth on her face, even through the blanket. The heat soothes her tired muscles, making her arms and legs feel soft, like they're melting. The glow of the flames is soft, not bright, so it doesn't keep her awake. It's like a friend who stays up to guard her, letting her sleep without worry. Agnes loves this feeling, this cozy safety that her bed and the fire give her. It's why she sleeps so well, even on a lumpy straw mattress. The room is dark except for the fire's light. The wooden walls are rough, with knots and cracks that Agnes knows by heart. The straw roof above is thick, keeping out the wind and rain. The dirt floor is cool, but Agnes doesn't feel it because her bed is warm and snug. The fire's shadows move on the walls like a story that's always changing. Agnes watches them sometimes when she's not quite asleep, and they make her mind feel soft, like she's already dreaming. Let's think about how Agnes's bed helps her sleep. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. The straw is lumpy, but it holds her body, letting her rest. The blanket is rough, but it keeps her warm like a big hug. The lavender is nice, but even without it, the bed is good. And the fire is the best part, with its warmth and light and gentle sounds. Together, they make a place where Agnes can let go of the day potted plant like a tiny seed in the ground, ready to grow into something beautiful. Agnes's bed is like that seed, simple and small, but full of life, giving her the rest she needs to face another day. Agnes's family is part of her bed, too. Maud, Ella, Tom, and Bramble sleep nearby, their breathing a soft sound that mixes with the fire's crackle. They make the room feel full, like a nest where everyone is safe. Agnes loves knowing they're close, sharing the warmth of the fire and the coziness of the bed. It's not just straw and wool, it's love, family, and home, all wrapped together in a simple mattress by the hearth. Let's imagine the night outside. The village is quiet, with only the sound of wind or an owl in the trees. The stars are bright, like a blanket of light in the sky. Inside, Agnes's house is warm, the fire glowing, the bed waiting. She's lying down, her body sinking into the straw, her eyes closed. The blanket is heavy, the lavender sweet, the fire warm. She's tired, but happy, ready to sleep. The room feels alive, safe, like a hug that never ends. So let's hold on to this cozy feeling, this soft, sleepy world of Agnes's bed. It's not perfect, but it works, cradling her tired body and helping her rest. We'll see more of her night soon, how she sleeps, what she dreams, how the fire keeps her safe. For now, let's stay with her in this gentle moment, with the fire's glow and the straw's crunch as she drifts into sleep. It's nighttime in the little medieval village in England, way back in the 1300s. The stars are shining outside, and the air is cool and quiet. Inside Agnes's small house, the fire is burning low, giving off a soft, warm glow. Agnes, our kind cook with flour-dusted hands, is ready to sleep on her straw mattress near the hearth. She's not alone, though. Her sister's family lives in the same house, and they sleep close by. Her niece and nephew's soft breaths mix with the fire's gentle crackle like a cozy song. Sometimes the family's old dog, Bramble, curls up next to her, his furry warmth making her feel even snugger. It's not crowded, it's comforting, like a big hug in the dark. Let's explore who sleeps next to Agnes, nice and slow, in a way that feels sleepy and calm, like snuggling under a warm blanket. Agnes's house is small, with wooden walls and a straw roof. The fire is in the middle on a stone hearth, and its soft light makes the room feel safe and cozy. The air smells like smoke, a little bit of lavender from Agnes's bed and the earthy scent of the dirt floor. Agnes's straw mattress is spread out near the fire, covered with a rough wool blanket. She's tired from a long day of cooking, stirring pottage, kneading bread, and carrying water. Her body is heavy, ready to sink into sleep. But what makes her bed extra special is knowing her family is right there with her, sharing the warmth and the quiet night. Agnes's sister, Maud, sleeps just a few steps away. Maud is older than Agnes, with gray hair tied in a loose braid. Her mattress is like Agnes's, made of straw and covered with a wool blanket. Maud's blanket is patched with bits of cloth because she's good at sewing. She's lying down now, her breathing slow and steady like a soft wind. Agnes can hear her and it makes her smile. Maud is her big sister, always there to talk or laugh or help with the kids. Knowing Maud is close makes the night feel softer, like a secret they share in the dark. Maud's kids, Ella and Tom, sleep nearby too. Their mattresses are smaller, pushed close together because they like to be near each other. Ella is 8 with long brown hair that's messy from playing all day. Tom is 6 with a freckled face and a giggle that makes everyone laugh. They're curled up under their blankets, their faces peaceful. Ella's arm is flopped over Tom, like she's keeping him safe. Their breaths are soft, in and out, mixing with the fire's crackle. Agnes loves listening to them. It's like a lullaby telling her everyone is okay, everyone is resting. Then there's Bramble, the family's old dog. Bramble is shaggy with brown and black fur that's a little matted. His ears flop over and his eyes are kind, even when he's begging for bread. At night, Bramble likes to sleep close to the fire where it's warm. Sometimes he curls up right next to Agnes's mattress, his furry side pressed against her. His warmth is like an extra blanket, soft and heavy. Bramble snores, a funny grumbling sound that makes Agnes chuckle. "Silly dog," she whispers, but she loves having him there. His snores and his warmth make the bed feel cozier, like a friend who's always nearby. Let's picture Agnes lying on her straw mattress. The fire is glowing, its light dancing on the wooden walls like a gentle wave. Her blanket is pulled up to her chin and the straw crunches softly as she shifts. Maud is breathing nearby, steady and calm. Ella and Tom are asleep, their soft breaths like a quiet song. Bramble is curled up close, his fur warm against Agnes's side, his snores rumbling like a tiny storm. The room feels full, not crowded, but comforting, like a nest where everyone is safe and warm. Agnes closes her eyes, smiling, because she's not alone. The house is small, so everyone sleeps in the same room. It's not like today where people have their own bedrooms. Back then, families stayed close, sharing the warmth of the fire and the safety of the house. Agnes likes it this way. She's used to the sounds of her family, Maud's breathing, Ella's little murmurs, Tom's occasional giggle in his sleep, Bramble's snores. They're not loud or annoying. They're part of the night, like the fire's crackle or the wind outside. They make Agnes feel like she's wrapped in love, even when she's sleeping. Maud is a big part of Agnes's life. They've lived together since they were girls, helping each other through everything. Maud takes care of the kids, washes clothes, and helps in the garden while Agnes cooks. At night when they lie down, they sometimes whisper to each other, talking about the day or making plans for tomorrow. Tonight, Maud is already asleep, her breathing deep and slow. Agnes listens to it, feeling calm. Maud's presence is like a warm light, making the dark feel friendly, not scary. Ella and Tom are like Agnes's own kids, even though they're her niece and nephew. She loves their energy, their laughs, their silly games. During the day, they run around, helping with small tasks or playing with Bramble. At night, they're quiet, their faces soft and sweet. Agnes can see them in the fire's glow, their blankets tangled because they wiggle in their sleep. She loves knowing they're close, safe, and warm. Their breaths are like a promise that tomorrow will be full of their smiles and chatter. Bramble is special, too. He's old with a limp from chasing rabbits years ago, but he's still full of love. He follows Agnes around during the day, hopping for scraps of bread or a pat on the head. At night, he picks a spot near the fire, sometimes right next to Agnes. His fur is warm, and his weight against her mattress feels like an anchor, keeping her steady. His snores are funny, loud one moment, soft the next, like he's dreaming of something exciting. Agnes reaches out sometimes, resting her hand on his fur, and it makes her heart feel full. Let's imagine lying on Agnes's mattress with her. The straw is a little lumpy, but it holds you up like a hug from the ground. The wool blanket is heavy, smelling of smoke and lavender. The fire's glow is soft, painting the walls with dancing shadows. You can hear Maud breathing, steady and calm. Ella and Tom's breaths are lighter, like a gentle breeze. Bramble's snores rumble nearby, and his warmth is close, like a furry blanket. The room feels cozy, safe, like a secret place where only good things happen. You close your eyes and the sounds wrap around you, pulling you towards sleep. The fire is a big part of this cozy world. It's not just for warmth, it's like a friend who stays awake, watching over everyone. Its crackle is soft, mixing with the family's breathing, creating a nighttime song. The glow is gentle, not bright, so it doesn't keep Agnes awake. It lights up Maud's face, Ella's hair, Tom's freckles, Bramble's fur, making them look peaceful in their sleep. Agnes loves this light, this warmth, because it makes her family feel closer, even in the dark. The house is simple, with no walls to separate rooms. The wooden walls are rough, darkened by smoke. The dirt floor is cool, but the fire keeps the air warm. The straw roof above is thick, keeping out the wind and rain. There's a table in the corner with Agnes's cooking things, spoons, pots, and knife. The family's blankets and mattresses are spread out near the fire like a circle of coziness. It's not fancy, but it's home, and Agnes feels safe knowing her family is all around her. Let's think about why sleeping close to her family is so special for Agnes. It's not just about staying warm, though the fire helps with that. It's about feeling connected, like they're all part of the same big hug. Maud's breathing is a reminder that her sister is there, always ready to help. Ella and Tom's breaths are a promise of their laughter tomorrow. Bramble's snores are a funny, warm sound that makes the night feel friendly. Together, they make Agnes's bed more than just straw and wool. It's a place full of love where she's never alone. Agnes lies on her mattress, pulling the blanket up to her chin. The straw crunches as she shifts, finding a comfy spot. Bramble is close, his fur brushing her arm, his snores loud and funny. She pats him gently, smiling. "Good dog," she whispered. She listens to Maud's breathing, steady like a heartbeat. Ella murmurs something in her sleep, maybe about her straw doll. Tom giggles, then goes quiet. The fire crackles, its glow soft on the walls. Agnes's eyes are heavy, her body sinking into the straw. She feels so safe, so cozy, with her family all around. The night outside is different from the house. The village is quiet, with only a few sounds, a hoot from an owl, a rustle of leaves in the wind. The stars are bright, like tiny fires in the sky. The air is cold, but inside, the fire keeps everything warm. Agnes doesn't hear the outside world much. She hears her family, the fire, the soft creak of the house settling. These sounds are her nighttime song, wrapping her in comfort, making the dark feel like a friend. Agnes's family makes the bed feel like more than just a place to sleep. Maud is her rock, always there with a kind word or a helping hand. Ella is her joy with her big eyes and endless questions. Tom is her laughter with his silly jokes and boundless energy. Bramble is her warmth with his furry hugs and funny snores. They're all part of her world, and sleeping close to them makes Agnes feel like she's part of something bigger, something full of love. The fire ties it all together, its warmth and light making the room a safe, cozy nest. Let's imagine the fire's glow on Agnes's family. Maud's face is peaceful, her gray braid loose on her blanket. Ella's hair is tangled, spread out like a fan. Tom's freckles stand out in the soft light, his mouth open just a little. Bramble's fur is shiny, his paws twitching like he's dreaming of chasing rabbits. Agnes sees them in the fire's glow, and her heart feels warm, like it's full of light. She loves this moment when everyone is asleep and the room is quiet, except for the sounds of breathing and crackling. The straw mattresses are all close to the fire because it's the warmest spot in the house. Agnes's is nearest because she tends the fire during the day and likes to be close at night. Maud's is a little farther, but still warm. Ella and Tom's are pushed together so they can whisper to each other before they sleep. Bramble doesn't have a mattress. He just flops down wherever it's warmest, usually next to Agnes or the kids. The fire's heat reaches them all, making their beds feel like cozy cocoons, safe from the cold night. Agnes's blanket is rough, but it holds the fire's warmth, keeping her snug. She can feel Bramble's heat against her side like a furry hot water bottle. She listens to Maud's breathing, Ella's murmurs, Tom's soft snores. The fire crackles and the shadows dance like a gentle story playing on the walls. Agnes's eyes are closing, her body heavy. She's tired but happy because her family is here, sharing the night with her. It's not crowded, it's perfect, like a shared secret that makes the dark feel soft and kind. Let's think about what it's like to sleep close to people you love. Maybe you share a room with a brother or sister, or you have a pet who sleeps on your bed. It feels nice, right? Knowing someone is there, breathing, dreaming, makes the night less lonely. For Agnes, it's the same. Maud, Ella, Tom, and Bramble are her family, her home. Their sounds, their warmth, their presence make her bed a place of love, not just a place to sleep. The fire adds to it with its glow and crackle, like a friend who's part of the family, too. Agnes shifts on her mattress, the straw crunching softly. Bramble grumbles in his sleep, moving closer, his fur warm against her leg. She smiles, her hand resting on his back. Maud's breathing is steady, like a clock ticking slowly. Ella and Tom are quiet now, their breaths light and even. The fire's glow is softer, the flames lower, but the warmth is still there, wrapping everyone in coziness. Agnes's mind is drifting like a leaf on a calm river. She's almost asleep, held by the sounds and warmth of her family. The house is a safe place, with its wooden walls and straw roof. The fire keeps it warm and the family keeps it full of life. Agnes loves this feeling, this closeness. It's not about having a big house or fancy beds. It's about being together, sharing the night, feeling the love that fills the room. Her straw mattress is simple, but with her family nearby, it's the best bed in the world. The fire's light, the breathing, the snore, they're all part of a cozy song that sings her to sleep. Let's picture the room one more time. The fire is glowing, its light soft on the walls. Agnes is on her mattress, the blanket heavy, Bramble warm beside her. Maud is asleep, her face calm. Ella and Tom are curled up, their blankets tangled. The air smells like smoke and lavender, and the sounds of breathing and crackling fill the room. It's not crowded, it's comforting, like a big, warm hug. Agnes is drifting, her eyes closed, her heart full, ready to sleep in this cozy, loving space. So let's hold on to this gentle feeling. This soft, sleepy world of Agnes and her family. Her bed is full of love, with Maud, Ella, Tom, and Bramble close by. We'll see more of her night soon, how she sleeps, what she hears, how the fire keeps her warm. For now, let's stay with her in this cozy moment, with the fire's glow and the family's breaths as she drifts into a peaceful, loving sleep. It's deep into the night in the little medieval village in England, way back in the 1300s. The stars are twinkling outside, and the air is cool and still. Inside Agnes's small house, the fire is burning low, giving off a soft, warm glow that dances on the wooden walls. Agnes, our kind cook with flour-dusted hands, is lying on her straw mattress near the hearth, ready to drift into sleep. As she closes her eyes, the world around her sings a gentle lullaby. The fire pops softly like a friend telling a quiet story. Outside, the wind brushes against the straw roof, making a whispering sound. Somewhere in the village, a goat bleats once, then goes quiet. The house creaks, settling into the night. These sounds aren't loud or scary, they're familiar, steady, like a cozy song that helps Agnes sleep. Let's listen to the sounds of the night with her, nice and slow, in a way that feels sleepy and calm, like snuggling under a warm blanket. Agnes is on her mattress, the straw crunching softly as she shifts to get comfy. Her wool blanket is pulled up to her chin, heavy and warm, smelling a little like smoke and lavender. The fire is just a few steps away, its flames low but steady, casting a golden light that flickers across the room. The fire makes a gentle popping sound like tiny snaps or whispers as the wood burns. It's not loud, it's soft, like a friend talking quietly so you can relax. Agnes loves this sound. It's been with her all day, cooking her food and warming her house, and now it's helping her sleep like a lullaby that never stops. She listens to the fire, her breathing slowing down. Each pop is like a little note in a song, steady and familiar. Sometimes the fire hisses when a bit of sap in the wood bubbles, and it's like a giggle that makes Agnes smile. The flames move slowly, eating the logs bit by bit, and the crackle is so gentle, it feels like the fire is telling her a story. "Go to sleep, Agnes," it seems to say. "You worked hard today." Her eyes are heavy, and the fire's sound wraps around her, like a warm hug that pulls her closer to dreams. Inside the house, there are other sounds too. Agnes's family is asleep nearby, adding their own notes to the nighttime song. Her sister Maud is on her straw mattress, breathing slow and deep like a soft wind blowing. Maud's breaths are steady in and out like a clock ticking quietly. Agnes can hear them, and they make her feel safe, like her sister is a rock that's always there. Maud's breathing is part of the house, part of the night, and it helps Agnes relax, knowing her sister is close and resting. Maud's kids, Ella and Tom, are asleep on their mattresses too. Their breaths are lighter, like little puffs of air. Ella, who's 8, sometimes murmurs in her sleep, saying bits of words about her straw doll or a game she played. Her voice is soft, like a whisper, and it makes Agnes's heart feel warm. Tom, who's 6, snores a little, a funny sound that's more like a whistle than a rumble. His snores come and go, like he's dreaming of running or laughing. Agnes listens to Ella and Tom, their breaths and murmurs mixing with the fire's crackle, and it's like a gentle song that says, "Everyone's safe, everyone's okay." Then there's Bramble, the family's old dog. Bramble is curled up near Agnes, his shaggy fur warm against her mattress. His snores are loud, like grumbles or growls, but they're not scary. They're funny, making Agnes smile even as she's drifting off. Sometimes Bramble twitches in his sleep, his paws moving like he's chasing rabbits in a dream. His snores stop for a moment, then start again, loud and rumbly. Agnes loves Bramble's sounds. They're like a friend who's always there, adding warmth and silliness to the night. Let's picture Agnes on her bed, listening to these sounds. The straw is lumpy but cozy, holding her tired body. The blanket is heavy, trapping the fire's warmth. The fire pops